All right. Hey guys, so Ryan Parr here from Bare Bones Strength. Welcome to the first ever Bare Bones Radio podcast show. I'm super excited to kind of kick this off. I got my buddy James here from Ohio, Shovel City Strength. I got my Shovel City Strength shirt on today. Show a little patronage of that. So, really, what to expect from this podcast in the future? I'm going to be hitting episodes with a lot of people that I know and hopefully some that I don't know personally yet, just to kind of bring everybody some conversations that they can get a little bit of information out of. Big picture strength conditioning stuff. My whole thing with my business being bare bones is just that, just the basics, right? The basics work, the basics are tried and true, and I'm going to be bringing on guests that create a nice little echo chamber about that, and we'll chat about it, and who knows what else will come up. We'll chat about life, we'll chat about training, and we'll take it from there. All right, so without much further ado, I want to introduce James. So I first met James in Philadelphia. It was CrossFit. Yeah, what do they call it now? Not CrossFit football. It's
Sports specific application.
that's right, sports specific application. Right, it's basically CrossFit football. It's the power athlete stuff. Him and I are both power athlete followers. Have been for a long time. And so we chatted there about the fact that he coaches some high school middle schoolers, and I coach some high school middle schoolers. And so we kind of went back and forth about that. At the end of the weekend in Philadelphia, went our separate ways. Lo and behold, almost a year later, reconnect in New Jersey at Zach Evanash's Underground Strength certification course. So we're like, hey man, life throws somebody your way 2 times in a row like that from completely different parts of the country. I think it was meant to be that we need to chat and kind of collaborate on some stuff. So we've been in contact ever since. We got a lot of similar stuff going on in different parts of the country. So I just wanted to get him on the horn because, one, because he believes in a lot of the same stuff I do. So I'm not going to invite somebody that's going to, have a different viewpoint than me. But yeah, so without much further ado, I want to kind of introduce James. And I kind of want to have you start with your story, right? Like, who are you? What brought you into the strength world? And what's your mantra? Why do you do this from day to day?
Okay. Well, I guess it depends on how far you want to start back. I was an athlete in high school, but an extremely average athlete, basically, because I just didn't put in the work, basically, during high school. But more to make money than being in sports. But so anyway, after high school continued, just can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay. So just continuing with the recreational type sports, whatever, and life kind of gets in the way. Some things happen. Next thing you know, I'm just not active at all anymore. I'm like 140 pounds and completely out of shape. So, long story short, I get back into shape for myself, basically, and then it just through meeting certain people in this world, in the fitness industry, and the strength world, just realized that, man, so I'm connected with some people, and it would just be selfish of me not to pass this stuff on that I've learned and am learning.
Right.
So then after that is when I really started diving into the sports side, the athletic performance side. Shortly after that, it didn't take long to find those guys at Power Athlete, and after that it was on basically from through them and their podcast, and kind of branched out to Zach and a couple of other guys that I don't know if you're connected or not, but like Aaron Osmus.
Yep, pen and paper.
Yep. Love that dude. And another big one is Scott Caulfield from the NSCA.
Yep.
So Scott multiple times has been super helpful.
Yeah, that pen and paper strength app that he puts out. That's Aaron, right? Aaron Caulfield. Or not Aaron Caulfield, Aaron Asmus. Yeah. And
Yeah.
the stuff he puts out is phenomenal. He just finished. That was the December and Squattober comes from him too.
Yeah.
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 So I guess my question then: do you think that? I mean, this is kind of the boat I'm in. Do you think that because you were saying that when you were younger, maybe you weren't as good of an athlete as you could have been because you didn't put in the work? Do you think that part of it is you realize the work? I mean, this is where I'm at. You realize the work it takes, so maybe you thought it was time to convince kids at an early age the value of that work.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, because I've never been afraid of work. You know what I mean?
Right.
My work and was focused in a different place, and I didn't really. I don't even know what I'm trying to come up with there, but on the court or the field, I'm always willing to go hard, but my genetics just weren't as a great athlete. However, I could have been a better athlete if I had put in work on the field. But that's just not something that was coached into us back then.
Right.
At least the place that I was.
So you're kind of hoping.
Why not expose some of today's kids to that?
Right. And by that you mean hitting the weight room, right? The value of hard work and what it feels like to lift heavy, what it feels like to push past your limits, be completely out of breath and still have to do some hard work.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Now you run a gym now. That's that Shovel City Strength. You got the hoodie on. I got the shirt on. Right. I see the posts. Tell us a little bit about Shovel City Strength. What's that all about? That's on your property, right?
I got some news about that actually, but it's currently on my property.
All right.
So it's just a small gym. I mean, it's 600 square feet inside. I got a big yard. We kind of get cooped up a little bit in the winter because we get a lot of snow. But so yeah, we get there, get after it. It's the basics, you know. I mean, you know how it is. Just and actually, that's a pretty small stable at this point, and I seem to attract mostly junior high kids. So it's really like the perfect opportunity to recruit them, and not only as athletes, but as young men.
Yeah. Do you have all? Is it all boys?
Currently, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. When I got into this too, and I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but I wanted to train high schoolers. I wanted to train like 16, 17, 18-year-old guys and get them, you know, to where they needed to be. But I think through, you know, doing and going, I noticed that the opportunities are there for middle schoolers actually. So we're looking at like 12, 13, 14-year-old, and that's where a lot of mine are too. And I think, like you've seen, I think that's a much better opportunity. I think that's where kids should start. I think that if we're 16, 17, 18 trying to get into a strength program, I think we're a little bit far behind the eight ball. I think it should have started a long time ago.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, you can always, it doesn't matter where you're starting, you can make progress.
Right.
And improve.
Yeah.
It is 100% beneficial to start
Yeah.
before in my opinion. And that doesn't mean put a bar on your back or do max deadlifts every week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
there are things to do.
Yeah. And I think more importantly, that's where that value of hard work starts, right? I think that's where they learn the work ethic of I'm going to, you know, make sure I eat enough food to get in there and work out. I'm going to get in. I'm going to push myself. I'm not going to sit in the corner on my phone and complain to my parents about going to do it, right? And they learn how to work hard, I think, even if it is just sled pushes, kettlebell work, stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. So here's like a quick question for you.
Yep.
So what is with the junior high kids? Like, what have you found to be your biggest challenge
Um, Honestly, I think my biggest challenge with the junior high kids is they want to do everything now, right? So they see some of the older kids, or the 15-year-old that's been there for 2 years working with me, that's got a bar on her back, or I got a girl that just deadlifted 300 pounds at 16 years old, and I see the younger ones they want to lift, right? They want to get a bar in their hands, a straight bar. I'll let the younger ones trap bar deadlift. They can trap bar deadlift because it's essentially like, it's like double kettlebell anyway. But they want to lift with a barbell. So I think a lot of times my biggest challenge, and I get excited, right? I get hyped up, and they come in and like, man, I want to lift. Can I do this? Can I do that? And part of me, the kid in me, right? When I was training, when I was little, it was, yeah, let's do it, let's do it. You kind of want to make those mistakes when you're younger, which was fun for us back then. But there's the other part of me that I want longevity for them, so I got to be able to dial them in a little bit. And I'm not so much a motivator for them as I am, hey, let's take a minute, let's take a little bit off that bar and let's do it right. Because I got a kid that deadlifted trap bar almost 200 pounds, but 75 pounds on a straight bar. We're rounding, you know what I mean? So there's just a lot of behind the scenes work to do. There's a really great quote that I heard that everybody talks about trying to train the elite athlete, but nobody's out there teaching the foundations, right? Nobody just says, hey man, I'm a foundations gym. I teach the basics. So I think that what I'm doing, what you're doing, like grassroots stuff, teaching the basics and not trying to claim that we're making elite athletes, right? That will happen down the road. I think that's the biggest challenge, is remembering that they're going to get excited and want to lift a lot and lift heavy and advance faster, and we got to dial them back and trust the process for it.
Yeah, man, I saw a great post today, and I wish I could remember who posted it, but it was basically about like those elite athletes are easy to train, man. All you got to do is not get them hurt.
Right.
The athletes just don't hurt them, and they're fine. They can go play marbles as they're training, and they're still going to be great. It's the youth that don't quite know the work and stuff that's going to, I don't want to say keep them injury free, because you can't prevent all injury, but
yeah. I think that's actually more rewarding anyway.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm telling you, the first time, the best part of everything that you do is the first time to see a kid, like, because they all come in, no matter how good of an athlete they are, when you try to teach them how to squat, and they just don't know their body yet. You know how hard it is to even some fairly decent athletes how to perform a proper squat. And so they progress and start getting a little bit of a load, or even jumping. They're just not sure they're going to be able to get to the top of that box. And then they build that courage up to jump, and they make it. And to see, they're like, that light bulb come on.
Yep.
I can do that. And that is, and every time that's happened to me a few times, and every single time that's happened, their training has went to the next level every single time.
Yeah, it's that momentum.
Yeah, sometimes that happens, and after them being there for a month, sometimes it's not until 6 months later. Every kid is different, but man, when that light bulb goes off, it's awesome.
Yeah, they learn how to flip that switch sometimes too, right? Maybe that box jump or that squat or whatever it is kind of taught them that there's a third gear, right? There's another gear that they didn't know they had, and they kind of need that fire underneath them. Kind of on the same, not so much a success, but sometimes failures. I think I've seen that help some kids too. I had a girl that tried out for varsity when she was playing JV and didn't make it, and she was always a good athlete. And I think that the talk we had after about how those people watching her try out weren't so much looking for ability but looking for effort, that she needed to put a little bit more effort into that. And I think failing that and not making that team is what made her flip that switch, and she became a different athlete from that point forward too. Yeah, so I think it's couple different paths to kind of that same end of learning that they have that gear.
And there's not one, even now, the kids that have kind of seen the confidence grow in, they still don't know they're capable of. That's the awesome part.
Right.
They're just going to continue to grow and get better. And some of them are likely not going to be elite athletes, but they're going to be closer to knowing what they're capable of at the end of the day, which is different there.
Yeah. All right. So what? Give me like a basic day. Do you have programming that you follow for these kids? Do you just give them? Do you have like a 3-day a week, a 4-day a week? How do you work with your kids? What's your method?
So, yeah, for me, what I found that works best for me is do a 3 evenings a week, and I'll have 2 sessions a night, one at 6 o'clock, one at 7 o'clock. That benefits that's usually most beneficial during the winter for basketball season. A lot of the local schools around here share gym time. So girls team practices early, boys team practices late. So 6 and 7 gives me time to not miss anybody. So for my place, we go 6 and 7, 3 days a week. The programming is pretty similar. I learned so much at Zach's seminar as far as programming for those big classes where you have a big range of training
Right.
capability. So there's a basic template where it's and I actually have found the best way for me is I go like a 4-day week, except I squeeze it in 3 days and that 4th day rolls over to the next. So we may have say just a quick example, squats Monday, and then next week those squats will be on Tuesday. That way the kids that are only coming 2 days of the week, if they come the same 2 days every week, they still get everything.
Gotcha.
It just takes them 2 weeks to go through the 1 week progression.
Right.
So that's been that I didn't figure out right away. That's but it's working pretty well.
Awesome. So how about are you structuring it? So I've seen a lot of your stuff, and I shared your page with a lot of people that are kind of on and follow some of the stuff that I do, and I want them to take a look at the stuff you do because I really love how many similarities I've seen. I think it's really fun, especially for my athletes, to be able to go to a page like yours and watch some of these videos, especially when it's almost been like day to day. And I think I've actually sent you a message about that a few weeks ago. I was like, hey man, we did bent rows, sled drags, and this and that. It was like the exact same thing, the programming for the day. So I think it's pretty neat that all those basics are in there. And so you're typically working with them for about an hour, right?
1 hour, yeah. But a typical training session for us is we'll get our warm-up in, then we'll do either some plyos as a group or work on some type of skill. So whether that be not only like change of direction, not just a change of direction drill, but something that's going to like a start-stop where we're starting and stopping and learning the positions we're supposed to be at when we're changing directions. So we usually hit plyos a couple days a week and then add some skill work twice a week. And then we hit the strength, and then we're either going to get some more conditioning in or some type of competition at the end. Those are the kids' favorite days.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it's just a race from one end of the gym to the other, pick up a tennis ball. Whoever gets the tennis ball first wins. We start from like a push-up position one day, or start laying on your back one day. Just getting a movement in your feet. Sometimes it's tug of war. The tug of war is like their favorite thing to do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All the stuff that's like banned from school now. Any like competition where somebody can get their feelings hurt, they could do it in the gym now.
Yeah, sometimes it is just go play.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah. Which is cool. We do max out Fridays now, but we'll do like so what have I done? This past week was forward sled drag for max weight. But I got them a harness out. I got them truck pulling harnesses, and I just let them go. I mean, they're going to go until they can't move anymore, and it's cool. And we typically go 10, 15 minutes over on Fridays every single time because they just want to push it. So we've maxed out prowler pushes. We've done what else have we done? Max reps of things in a minute, like sandbag over the shoulder. That's a max out. Try to beat scores. And I got a leaderboard for them. I just write it in. They know what they've done last time. And hey, I did 4:05 in the prowler last time. I'm going 4:15, coach. Stuff like that. So it's real cool to see that. I think that competition is a big part of training. I think it's got to be there.
Absolutely, and I've found the bigger my classes are, the better everyone performs.
Now you've got some. Yeah. You got some pretty cool outside space too, don't you? You got a big grassy your yard.
Yeah, so it's just under 2 acres, my entire property, but almost, I would say pretty close to 1 acre of it is wide open, no trees, and it's flat.
That's awesome.
I mean, it might be cool to have a hill somewhere to do some sprints, but we're on a country road, so during the summer, we can sprint on the road, or we can sprint in the grass, whatever we want to do, man.
That's awesome.
It's a pretty good space.
Yeah, I've seen some cool things that you posted with some tire flips outside, taking some carries outside, stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's important too. I think that teaches them that it doesn't have to be just a gym setting, right? It doesn't have to be your real like nice like top equipment, all this stuff, and they kind of learn at an early age that they can get really strong and really tough on minimal stuff, right? And I think that's a really good lesson for them to take with them. I'm fortunate enough to be at a gym that is. So John owns CrossFit Mohawk Valley, where I run my program, and fortunate enough that everything is amazing. He's got really great equipment, tons of room. There's like 10,000 square feet almost. We've got rigs and bars, and we can accommodate a ton of kids. But I think one thing that does for these kids though is they're missing that atmosphere that you have. In that, hey man, this is a barn with plywood walls, minimal equipment. We're going out in the yard doing this stuff, and I think that's a really cool aspect that I wish I could give them. That I think is really cool about what you do with them.
That's the biggest challenge I'm kind of facing right now because I love it. I love the griminess of it. It's just so simple out there. Some of the barbells I have are rusty. The plates are rusty. And I do have some nice stuff just because, I mean, you just need some nice stuff.
Yeah.
But I got a sandbag out there that's literally an old army backpack that's closed up with duct tape. And I've got some other good sandbags also. But it's going to be interesting because pretty soon I think we're going to be moving locations.
Yeah, you were saying
that's going to be the hardest thing to give up. What was that?
Yeah, you were saying that. Yeah, are you going down? Are you going to go inside another facility with it? Or are you gonna?
So, yeah, there's it's actually, I haven't even officially announced this yet. I think we talked about it a little bit. But, teaming up with another local guy who's just opened a sports facility in there was just an old rec center that closed down. He bought the building. He just wanted to do something positive for the community. So, and he was a college basketball player. He loves the basketball stuff. There's also batting cages in place. It's called Excel Sports Academy. And we're just going to team up. I'm going to get some space inside building, and so we can kind of benefit from each other. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's ideal because then you get a lot more traffic, you get a lot more exposure. That's really cool, man. I'm excited for that. What's your space going to be like? You're going to be more area, less area? You still have outdoor access?
There's still outdoor access. It's like a blacktop parking lot, so we'll be able to, in the summertime, get our sleds and everything outside, sleds, tires, carries, whatever, outside.
Awesome.
And but we'll also, they have a little, next to the batting cages, there's like a bullpen where like pitchers can use, but it's completely flat and the mound is movable. So he's like, we can just move that stuff out during your classes, and it's a big long stretch. We can do sled drags and areas inside.
Is that turf?
And not be. It's carpet.
Cool. It works. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's gonna be. I'm excited to get in there.
That's great, man. That's really cool. I'm excited to see some of that come up. Are you going to? So he said it's mostly going to be a baseball facility then?
They have batting cages, but they're going to do a ton of basketball games. I'm assuming at some point they're going to get volleyball in there.
Cool.
Also, so volleyball, baseball, and basketball are kind of the big three in this area. High school football is pretty big, but only a couple of the schools near here are good.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of basketball, baseball for the boys, and softball and volleyball for the girls. This area is what the big sports.
Awesome. I think basketball is a great one to get into. I feel like there's, I'm not sure if it's the same for you, but I've seen a lot of basketball players here that I don't think they value strength work as much as obviously the football players know that it's a direct correlation to their performance. I don't think the basketball players always have as much of a push to do it. And I think for some reason you see, I don't know if you've noticed, kids these days are way taller than we are, especially the high school basketball players. So they're getting so tall so fast, and those are the kids that go to basketball, the 6'4" kids, but then they're 140 pounds. So you're seeing a ton of injuries happen because they're just stretched out, right? So I think that a strength program would be phenomenal for those kids.
Yes, and they're playing basketball year round. So that's
yep.
And it's, I've had this conversation with a couple of parents actually of kids that play basketball year round, and they're hurt. So just do something else.
Yeah.
Even for a couple months, or even coming here could be your something else, and you're getting stronger and preparing yourself for your sport.
Yeah, I think that so many of them, they almost, now that I think you saw with the advent of like indoor facilities like that, and you saw people realize that there's some money to be made in going soccer, going basketball, and giving kids like winter leagues for soccer, indoor soccer, and stuff like that. So now that the opportunity's there, I see kids that are afraid to back off from it because they want to be a really good soccer player, but they don't want to take those few months off because they think that this other athlete's going to go play soccer year round and get better than them. So I think a great middle ground is don't play soccer for a few months or don't play basketball for a few months, but hit your strength program and shoot hoops on the weekends, right? Just like keep your skill of your shooting, your kicking, yeah.
Go to a camp once a month. When you take a couple of months off, go to a camp once a month.
Yeah.
You still get to play basketball, but you're not as much continuous use.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it makes it tough. It makes it tough. 'Cause I get it. They love it. They love soccer. They love basketball. They want to do it. But And it's also tough because they're not as passionate about strength as we are. So we see the value in it, and we want them to do it, and we want to see them like, seriously just get tough, right, and figure it out. But the issue is trying to convince them that this is going to make them better than continuing to play. And I think a lot of that comes down to the parents too. Do you reach out to a lot of parents? Is that where you find a lot of your kids? Or do you go to the schools?
Yeah, it's word of mouth right now. So, like we were talking earlier, I need to get a little more active on social media, but which is going to happen with this new facility.
Awesome.
I mean, it's going to organically happen then. But yeah, it's mostly just word of mouth and parents. There are a few parents that do interact with the stuff that is on social media. So I'll reach out to them. Hey, stop by, check this out, whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's almost exclusively word of mouth right now.
Awesome, and that's great then. Yeah, it's nice when the parents become they do your marketing basically. It's because the kids' confidence and results kind of speak for themselves, and parents will talk. Sure.
Yeah.
Great. So how about other things for you? What's your training look like now? I see a whole lot of. I saw you go through December. How'd that end up for you?
Didn't go through December. It ended up. I kind of played the PR party a little bit wrong. I haven't pulled 500 conventional ever. So I've done it soon, but I just wanted to pull 500 conventional, which I still think I'm going to do before I'm 40. I turned 40 in June.
Awesome.
But December, I hit a rep PR for December. I just didn't have one rep that I wanted.
No.
Single.
Did you do the rep PR first?
What's that?
You did the rep PR first, and that kind of left that on the table before you were able to go to that single?
No, I missed the big single and got mad, so I took a plate off and did the 405 for the
Gotcha.
But now it's just kind of back to field strong type athletic training again. I actually just signed up for CrossFit competition, believe it or not. So that'll
all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting because my conditioning is where I'm lacking right now.
Is this your first competition?
Yeah. I mean, I got a buddy that is an awesome coach that owns a CrossFit gym here in town, Tim Prater. He's unbelievable. When I do get hurt, he's who I go. He's who I go to. Which I had to bring you into the league. But so I go there sometimes and drop into the classes, and so I'm not even really a CrossFitter, but I'm going to do this competition with some of my buddies, and
yeah.
See how it goes.
I think you fare all
really
right.
Find out how this programming translates.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw you posted something the other day about starting to hit some conditioning again. I saw you had a sled out there, and I think I also saw that sled was on rubber floor, wasn't it?
Yes. It's brutal inside. I was kind of excited this morning. I woke up and it was sunny and it was warm. I was hoping the snow would get melted off the parking lot so we could take it outside, but it wasn't.
No. I mean, we'll do sled drags on the rubber, but pushing a sled on the rubber, I think, is a completely different story. That's brutal.
Pretty rough. I mean, I only had 2 plates and a 25 on the sled.
Yeah, that rubber makes all the difference. Yeah, cool. That'll be awesome. I'm excited to see what happens with how well you fare in that competition. I think. I mean, you move well. Like you said, you've been training to be athletic, and you had such an emphasis on strength that I think that's going to carry you pretty far too, which is awesome. I'm excited to see that.
And it's a team competition, so So
Even better.
from what I understand. Yeah, from what I understand, it's one of those things where you kind of tag in and out.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that even better. I mean, being a power athlete or an explosive athlete, I think that you work better in that time domain anyway of like 10, 15, 30 seconds worth of max effort versus your typical CrossFit of like 7, 8 to 15 minutes worth of work. I'd much rather give me 10, 15, 30 seconds and let my partner go. I think I'm always going to fare a lot better with something like that.
I will for sure.
Yeah.
So we got one or two guys on our team that are pretty good at the endurance stuff, but I'm not really good at it.
Cool. Yeah, me either. No. That's why I got into the strength game. Yeah. So, what else do you have coming up for you? I know that you, so we got the move coming up. What else you got coming up? Anything exciting happening?
For the gym itself, I mean, it's just, I'm excited to see the gym grow. I mean, the most exciting thing in our life right now is the adoption. You know, so my wife and I are in the process of adopting. So it's been a roller coaster, obviously, so far. Anybody interested in checking that story out, feel free to check it on Facebook or the Instagram page. See the ups and downs, but it's so we can have a new baby at any time. So that's kind of exciting yet scary because you just don't know. You can't plan like you would a regular pregnancy.
Right.
So you got to be ready.
Yeah.
But that'll be a big transition once it's a baby.
Yeah, that's really exciting too, and got that shared a few times. I'm going to share that around a little bit more. So I have shared that, and anybody that knows me and saw that, this is the guy we're sharing it for, right? So it's pretty cool to kind of put a face and a voice to that. Those things going around here in Central New York and wherever else they're passed from there. Absolutely, I encourage everybody else that knows me, and great guy, great family. Please share this stuff around, help him out. It takes 2 or 3 seconds to share something, and word of mouth networking is huge for that. So super excited to be able to kind of see you guys grow your family.
We really appreciate all the love and support and sharing we've got from that. It's been a great response.
Great. So I'm going to put up, when we post this, when we share this, I'm going to put up, I know we've already kind of shared some of the Instagram stuff. Do you have anything else going on? Do you have any blogs or anything else like that you want to promote? I know you got some shirts. Do you sell any shirts? Anything else you want to put out there that people can find you at?
Yeah, we don't. So again, everything is pretty small. My focus is still on the training aspect and less on the business, which may be a mistake right now. But again, if I was in it for the money, I probably would have quit a long time ago.
Right.
But the focus right now is on getting this move completed, getting into Excel, and being able to reach more kids, make a bigger impact, really. But if anybody is interested in any type of shirts or whatever, they can just DM me on the Instagram or on the Facebook page. And I got a pretty awesome, if you don't mind, I'd love to give them a shout out. Top Notch Custom Apparel. They're local here in Marion. And they make all my stuff, and they allow me to kind of order as small quantities as I want.
That's nice. That's real nice. Is that who made this shirt here?
That's who made that shirt that you're wearing.
One of my favorite shirts. Check this thing out. Yeah. You got the, I don't know if we can turn and see that art, but you got the Ohio on the back there. Yeah, this thing is cool. I like this. Soft, one of my favorite shirts, for sure.
So, yeah, the raglan is also my favorite of all. But if you've ever seen me in any of them or want to know what we have, just shoot me a message. I can send them for you.
Awesome.
But again, it's not something I actively push every now and then. I'll just put something up in the gym saying, hey, I'm going to place an order if you want something. But it's not much going on get this move done and try to reach more kids.
So how about this? Is Instagram DM the best way to get a hold of you? If somebody has a question, if somebody is in Ohio and they're near you and they're like, hey, within an hour of your gym and I really want to find something like what you do you recommend they go to your at Shovel City Strength Instagram and send you a message?
Yep, that or the Facebook page, either one. I also, there's a email address is shovelcitystrength@gmail.com. I don't have enough. The Facebook page is kind of what I use as the website.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's still, I need to team up with somebody that can kind of run a little bit more of the business aspect. But right now, I kind of need to get that routine.
Well, I feel like a lot of that lives on Facebook and Instagram anyway. I think Facebook, I found Facebook to be a bigger pull anyway, because I mean, you know that like the kids and people like our age or a little bit younger might be on Instagram, but I think a lot of the parents are still on Facebook. I think that's where like ads have been out there. I think there's a much better pull on Facebook, and there's a much better audience to get to the parents and let them know that, hey, there are gyms that do what we do. This is not just speed camp. This is not just a basketball camp. This is not a Planet Fitness type, whatever. And let parents know that there are gyms out there that are passionate about wanting to make their kids tougher, stronger for the long term and teach them all the basics. And like you said already, if we were in this for the money, the work model would look a lot different, right? If we were in this for the money, we'd be doing what everybody sees out there. These, hey, turn your kids into an elite athlete in the 6-week camp, things like that. I mean, we're not gonna feed that kind of bull to people, and I think it's important that parents see that. So I'm hoping that we can kind of share this around a little bit and time it nicely with your move going in and kind of get you a little bit more publicity and let parents out there know that their kids should be involved in something like this and, maybe reach out to you about it for a little more information.
For sure, man. I appreciate it. And again, it's seeing that change in those kids. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
And once they realize that work, thing to see a kid realize, man, I can do a lot more than I thought I could. Not just in a single rep or whatever, just I'm capable of more than I thought I could.
Yeah. 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 Letting them learn that, you're cutting out a little bit on there.
Oh, sorry. Still good. Is it getting worse now or better?
I think we're getting better now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put those tags up there. Your Shovel City Strength on Instagram, Shovel City Strength on Facebook. Best way to get a hold of you is through either one of those. If anybody out there is looking for a sweet shirt looks like this, DM this man right on either one of those and we'll hook you up. Perfect. Hey man, I'm really happy that you were able to come on here and chat for a while. This is great. Thanks for helping me kick off episode 1.
Oh, no man, honored to be the first guest. I really enjoy talking to you.
Absolutely. And we'll connect again real soon, and maybe after I push this thing, another dozen more episodes, we'll reconnect and check back in with you and let everybody know how that opening the new gym goes, and maybe we'll see some photos of that coming up real soon too.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Hey, thanks again for coming on, man.
Cool. Appreciate it.